All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Mr. Flores, and we're going to talk about how we can finish our narrative stories. This is the final cut. All right. So it's finally time to go back to our narrative stories that we wrote at the beginning of the year. And we're going to continue the writing process, mainly the last 3 steps. That's going to be revising, editing, and publishing our work. Let's get started. The first thing you need to do is read your old narrative story. Now that you have a new bag of tools, as you're reading, you're going to be looking for specific things in your story. The first thing you're going to want to check is the overall plot structure of your story. You got to make sure you have some basic elements. That is an exposition. That means at the beginning of your story, did you introduce the setting and the characters? You might not have to introduce all the characters here, but at least the main character. And then, is there a clear conflict where the problem is introduced that the main character is going to face? And then, did you build the action from there to the climax? Is there a clear resolution that the main character discovers that helps them resolve the conflict? If not, be sure that that's on purpose. Maybe the hero or the main character doesn't resolve the conflict and there's going to be a to be continued. If you do that, just make sure that it's on purpose and that it's well supported. All right, let's move on. The next thing you're going to want to do, and this is as you're reading, is make sure that when you're reading that everything is flowing nicely. If you're reading a paragraph or a sentence and you kind of get tripped up as you're reading it, that's like a red alarm going off saying something's wrong with this sentence or this paragraph. If that happens, go ahead and rewrite that sentence or paragraph so that it flows much more nicely. Again, if it doesn't flow well, that's a sure sign that something isn't written well, and it could be written a little better. This is why we're revising, guys, so don't be afraid to rewrite. That's exactly what we want to be doing in this process. The next thing you're going to look for is descriptive details. So you can kind of have like a check mark list here of the 5 senses. In every paragraph, do you have at least one descriptive detail? That would be a great start, especially when you're introducing a new setting or a character. So be sure to use the 5 senses and use lots of descriptive details. That will bring your story to life. And hey, what better way to bring your story to life than with figurative language? Remember, figurative language is what makes reading and writing so much more delicious. It's like the spices that you put in your food. Without figurative language, it's just bland and kind of boring. So use your figurative language, exaggerate things, make them colorful and exciting or dark and scary. But here are your tools that you can be using. Let's see them in your writing. Figurative language, guys. Go for it. Last but not least, you're going to edit for grammar and spelling. Okay? So go ahead and turn on your spell check. If you're not sure how to spell a word, you can try to Google it. You could speak it into the computer or device. Another thing I want you to check is your punctuations. Make sure that if you want to have a break when you're reading, you're going to use a comma. If this is an exciting part, make sure you're using your exclamation marks, and so forth. Okay, guys, check those things. That's the last thing you're going to do, and get out there and rewrite your narrative stories. This is a great time to make them more exciting, more colorful, and more amazing. Our next step, which I'll cover in another video, is how we're going to publish them. All right, good luck.